Everyone, good to see you again. Today we'll be starting a new chapter, that is triangles, and it's of ninth class, not 10th class. Most of the students find a lot of difficulties in triangles chapter. So I thought that we should start this as soon as possible. Okay? So firstly we'll discuss about the concepts that are there in very first exercise of chapter triangles, and most of you must be aware of these concepts, that is congruency. We will discuss congruency of triangles, that when we can say that given two triangles are congruent to each other. So it's different from equality. You cannot say that if two or three or any number of triangles are congruent to each other, so they must be equal to each other. No, it's not compulsory. So if two triangles are congruent to each other, they are only congruent to each other. And there is another concept, that is similarity of triangles, and that will be discussed in the 10th class. So at present we should confine ourselves to only congruency. Okay, so similarity criteria are different, congruency criteria are different. In total there are three criteria of congruency, and we will discuss all of those criteria turn by turn. Firstly, the criteria which is to be discussed, and which is very easy. Actually all of the three criteria are very easy. So if you have to prove two triangles, that these two triangles are congruent, then you have to prove any one of these three criteria. Automatically your triangle will be proven to be congruent triangle. Okay, so we'll discuss these criteria side by side, and we'll be discussing these turn by turn. So firstly, the rule is SAS Congruence Rules. Now the proofs of these criteria are actually not in your syllabus and actually not given, so it's better to not do that, but if you would like to just do proof of any of these three rules or these three criteria, you can personally message me on my Instagram ID, which is given in the description. Okay, so don't hesitate in asking me if you find any problem, because triangles chapter it comes in the category of geometry, and most of these students, even me, personally speaking, even me, I also run away from the geometrical concepts. So but we have to do it after all. So let's start with SAS congruence rule. What is the full form of SAS? Firstly, just consider that you have two triangles. It's a bit smaller, sorry for that. ABC and DEF. Okay, so you have two triangles. Now these triangles will be similar if two sides and one including angle is equal to each other. Now what does it mean? It means that consider two sides, that is AB and BC. If AB is equals to DE, because it's the corresponding side, and BC is equals to EF, BC is equals to EF, and which is the including angle? That is angle B and angle E, and angle B is equals to angle E. Then only these triangles will be known as congruent triangles, because as for side, then one angle, then side, two sides and the including angle, because our two sides were AB, DE, BC and EF, and what were the including angles? That is angle B and angle E. So if these three criteria are going to be satisfied, then your triangles will come out to be congruent triangles. This is what SAS congruency rule. Now the statement is simple: two triangles are congruent if two sides and the included angle of one triangle are equal to the sides and the included angle of the other triangle. Only then the two triangles will be known as congruent triangles. Now let's make this concept a bit clear with example number first of our very first exercises. But before proceeding, let me tell you something about CPCT. What is it? And it's very important concept, and the CPCT means congruence parts of corresponding parts of congruent triangles, or you can say congruent triangles corresponding parts. Okay, CPCT. Now what does it mean? Yeah, you have equated ABDE, BC, EF and B and E. Only one side is left, that is DF and AC. Now, when you have already proven that these two triangles are congruent to each other, the remaining parts, the remaining corresponding parts will automatically be equal to each other. This is the principle that CPCT stands for, because corresponding parts, it means if these triangles are congruent, then corresponding parts are equal. It means AB is DE, BC equals EF, automatically AC will be equal to DF. Okay, so this is what actually CPCT is, and yeah, keep this concept in mind because it's very, very useful. So let's move ahead and let's commence with our first example. Now this is a diagram which is given in the example first, and what are the given conditions? That is OA is equals OB, and also there are lines drawn which means these two sides are equal. OD is equals to OC. We have to prove that triangle AOD is congruent to triangle BOC. Now this is the sign of congruency. Okay, so we have to prove that triangle AOD is congruent to triangle BOC. Now we just have studied our SAS congruency rule, which states that two sides and one angle of both triangles must be equal to each other. It is already given that OA is equals to OB. Now OA is a side of this triangle, OB is a side of this triangle. So first condition is this: OA is equals to OB. It's already given. Second, OD is equals to OC. Now OD is again side of this triangle and OC is a side of another triangle. So OD is equals to OC. That's also given. Now S and S, it's proven. We have to prove A as well. That is two sides and one angle is equal. Now which angle is equal? Yeah, it's very clear that angle AOD is equals to angle COB. Why? It's very common thing that these are vertically opposite angles, right? So now if two sides and one angle is equal, then by SAS rule, triangle AOD is congruent to triangle BOC, right? Now these both triangles are congruent to each other, and this is how we have proven our very first part, correct? Now we have to prove that AD is parallel to BC. Now to prove this, you must be knowing some of the concepts of lines and angles chapter. Yeah, the videos of lines and angles are already made, and you can watch the video which is including the concepts of parallel lines, and the link is given in the description. You can go on that link and watch that video first to clear your concepts related to parallel lines. So that is why this will be easy for you to understand then. Okay, so for second part, AD must be parallel to BC. Now we have studied in that video in lines and angles chapter that two lines are only parallel to each other only if the alternative angles are equal, right? So what are the alternate angles? If these two lines are parallel, this will be the transversal, then the alternative angles will be OAD and OBC. It means if we will produce this a bit and these as well, if these are parallel and this becomes the transversal, it means OBC and OAD angles must be equal. Only then these both lines will be called as parallel lines. Now how can we just equate these angles simply? By CPCT. How? Let me first write by CPCT angle OAD is equals to angle OBC. By CPCT, why? Because these both triangles are already proven to be congruent. That is why corresponding parts of congruent triangles are equal. Now parts can be sides as well as the angles. So that's why OBC is equal to OAD, and not just this, OCB is also equal to ODA, because these are corresponding parts of congruent triangles. In this way, these two angles are equal, which are alternate angles. Okay, now alternate angles are equal. It means these both lines are parallels. Okay, this was the only reason. So that is why you have to keep in your mind the concept of CPCT very clearly, as well as the criterions which are used to prove any two triangles to be congruent. Let's move to the next example. So let's move to next example. In this example, it's given that AB is equals to line segment and L is the perpendicular bisector. It means L is dividing AB into two equal parts. So let this point be C. If P is any point which is lying on L, P is any point lying on L, we have to show that P is equidistant from A and B. Yeah, so we can easily join PA and PB. Okay, so what we have to prove here, you have to prove that PA is equals to PB. This is to be proved, that is PA is equals to PB. Now in other words, if you will prove that these two triangles are congruent, then PA and PB will be the corresponding part of the two congruent triangles. So simply PA will be equal to PB. So yeah, you have to prove that these two triangles are congruent to each other. Firstly, what you can do, there are two triangles, that PAC, triangle PAC and triangle PCB, right? Now see what's equal. AC is equals to BC. Why it's equal to BC? Because equivalence. Why? Because L was the perpendicular bisector. It means it is dividing AB into two equal parts. So AC is equals to BC. Apart from that, angle PCA is equals to angle PCB. Why so? Because these are 90 degree. Because again, L is the perpendicular bisector, which it means the angle here is 90 degree. Now one side and one angle is done. One more side is left. Yes, that is PC. PC is equals to PC. Why? Because it's the common arm, right? So SAS, yeah, we have fulfilled the conditions of the criterion. That is why a triangle PAC is congruent to triangle PCB, because of SAS rule. Now again, simply PA will be equal to PB because of CPCT. So yeah, instead of focusing on the main thing that is to be proved, just focus on to prove the congruency of the two triangles. So ultimately the corresponding parts of the congruent triangle will be equal. So it doesn't matter that you have to prove PA is equals to PB or any angle. You have to prove that two angles are equal. Just prove two triangles are congruent, and then easily you will be able to just do that. You will be able to prove any length is equal to any length, or any angle is equals to any angle. All right, so let now first two examples are done, and the two criterions and one example of this exercise is left. Okay, so we'll surely be doing those in our next video. Till then, just practice your SAS rule and the sums related to SAS rule. Yes, I am making this video short because firstly you should practice SAS rule completely, and then we'll move to the other concepts. All right, thanks for watching, and yes, don't forget to subscribe my channel, because only then I'll be able to make these kind of more videos for you guys. All right, and don't forget to share as well. Share it with your classmates, friends, and other students in your contact. All right, so yeah, see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Keep practicing. All the very best.